Hello and welcome back to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb and I am the host of the show. And again, really excited to talk about Disney this week. It's been quite an uneventful week, but those are nice sometimes. I've unfortunately gotten used to broken down cars every other week or ants invading our home or what have you. So it's been nice to have a kind of, again, uneventful week where nothing crazy happens and you don't have any bad stories to tell. But we have been trying to get Lamplight Lounge reservations, which if you don't know, are pretty much impossible to get. If you don't stake out and, stay up till 12 a.m. and get them exactly 60 days out from your trip. We are going in about a month to the Disneyland Resort, and we still haven't been able to try Lamplight Lounge. And I've heard nothing but great things about that restaurant, and so I am really wanting to try it. My wife's been hounding the Disneyland app, and we've just constantly, all throughout the day, every hour, checking to see if anything opens up, and unfortunately, nothing has yet. So if you know a trick and you want to share that with us, that would be amazing. Or if you want to sneak us in the back, if you happen to work there, and I don't mind, I'll sit on the ground, and you can serve me whatever you want to serve me. I'll take it. But all joking aside, if you have any secrets on getting that reservation, let us know. Maybe send us a message on Instagram at Market House Podcast, and that would be helpful. But anyways, we'll continue to try and get those, so maybe I can report back on how the restaurant is. But yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and dive into that Disney news. Our first story has to do with the greatly missed Bob Iger, who, again, if you don't know, is the former CEO and chairman of the Walt Disney Company, and was a much beloved Disney executive for many, many years. And when you thought of Disney, you thought of Bob Iger. So pretty much known as one of the best CEOs to really ever grace an office in the past 50 years or so. Very successful guy. Again, king of acquisitions. I can go on and on. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of his. But he was recently interviewed by Kara Swisher, who, if you don't know, is a pretty big tech journalist, has been around for the past 20, 30 years or so. And anyways, she had the chance to interview Bob Iger at some kind of forum in Richmond, Virginia, and she shared that interview on her podcast, which is called Sway, which if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend, as well as her other podcast with a guy named Scott Galloway called Pivot. Both amazing podcasts, but this interview was featured on Sway, and it's a New York Times podcast. Anyways, it's great. He just was able to share a lot more, I believe, than usual because he's now recently retired. So, fresh into retirement, when she held the interview, it was only 3 weeks past his retirement date. So, freshly retired, freshly out of the Disney office, and so kind of cool to get his take on the current state of the media environment and, big tech companies. And again, it was not all softball questions. He would evade some, right? Just because he is a public figure and he has to think of how, he's seen out in the public, but he did answer them a little more directly than he normally would, being the CEO of Disney. So anyways, a great interview if you have a spare 40 minutes. And he does address the rumor that he was supposed to come back and take over again as CEO in 2022. Spoiler, he basically says that's ridiculous and that's not going to happen. But anyways, he addresses it, which is kind of fun. Next up, we have a story about a little-known song called We Don't Talk About Bruno. You may not have heard of this. No one's talking about it. I'm kidding. It's all you hear about. It's all I hear on YouTube, on Spotify. I am going to go crazy. I'm slowly going crazy. I'm losing my mind talking about Bruno. But yeah, seriously, this thing has hit number 1 on Billboard Hot 100 chart. If I can speak English, that would help. The song has hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. I don't know. Does that make sense? It sounds weird. The chart word just throws me off. But anyways, it has hit number 1. And the last time a Disney animated movie has done this, a song that's gone kind of mainstream, was A Whole New World back in 1993. That little tune from Aladdin. Again, another sleeper hit. I've never heard of that movie. But anyways, this Encanto craze is kind of throwing me off guard because this is why. This thing comes out in theaters back in November, I believe, Thanksgiving week. And it does nothing, right? It does okay in the box office. Again, if you compare it to other movies, it did amazing, especially in COVID times. But take it out of that in a normal Disney, Pixar, whatever release, it didn't do amazing. It did, I think, a few $100 million. So it didn't get much talk, right? No one was really talking about this. It came out and people said, it's pretty good. Go see it. And then all of a sudden it gets released on Disney Plus, and that's all that anyone's talking about. And so it was really delayed, which is just a weird thing. It was delayed by a month and a half or so. So anyways, people love this dang movie. And if you go back and listen to my review, I was a little lukewarm on it. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. Wasn't my favorite Disney movie by all means, but it's a decent film. So again, it's free if you are subscribed to Disney Plus. So it's definitely worth the hour and a half or so. And especially since you get to listen to this 3-minute earworm, which is just an addicting thing that gets stuck in your head all day. And that is We Don't Talk About Bruno. Next up, we have some Disneyland park news, and that is New Orleans Square is now decorated for Mardi Gras. And, the most family-friendly event in the world. But again, they make it family-friendly over at the Disney company. But decorations are popping up in New Orleans Square. Cool mask things and, I don't know, Mardi Gras related. I've never been, so I'm not entirely sure what it's all supposed to be. But, it's colorful beads and faces. I don't know. It's a very bizarre thing. I don't know. It doesn't excite me too much, but anyways, I'm mentioning it just in case you're a big Mardi Gras fan. But this is actually going to be decorated for the next month, so all throughout February. I believe the actual event starts on March 1st, and then I believe they start kind of taking it down the first or second week of March. But you can actually grab a limited time dessert, and that is at the French Market. And it's a Mardi Gras coconut cake. It looks delicious. It's like all multicolored and very pretty looking. It's like $7.99 or something, but it looks worth it. Let me tell you about this thing. It's composed of 3 layers of royal colored sponge cake and pastry cream dusted with coconut flakes. Delicious. Looks really good. I can't have it. It contains gluten, the thing that will kill me. So next time my wife and I head to the parks, I'm hoping they still have it so she can give it a shot and I can sit there and salivate and watch her eat it and have her describe to me how it tastes and feels because it looks amazing. So stop by French Market if you want to try that cake. And our final news story happens to take place across the country over at Disney World, and that is the moat in Hollywood Studios, part of the Fantasmic Theater, has now been filled. So was empty, I believe, doing some maintenance and maybe just have better use of that water. I don't know, when it's not in use. Maybe stagnant water is not a great thing to have around the park, but it's recently been refilled. So that can only mean that show is starting back soon. So hoping the same thing happens over on the West Coast, because it's my wife's favorite nighttime show, and it's a classic, right? Fantasmic, when it's not going, it's just there's a void in space and time when Fantasmic is not happening over in New Orleans Square or over in Hollywood Studios on the East Coast. And also, I just finished watching a Fresh Baked YouTube video, and he actually shared some footage of workers working on the sailing ship Columbia. That's a tongue twister there. Sailing ship Columbia. Say that 3 times fast. They had some workers up there kind of working on the rigging for the Pirates of the Caribbean segment. Used to be the Peter Pan segment, but the new one has Pirates of the Caribbean. And anyways, it looks like they're actually getting the park ready for this show. So I'm hoping this thing returns soon. Rumors are sometime in March or April for these shows to return. Disney's official word was 2022, so that can mean the entire year, but we're thinking before summer and sometime in spring. So look out for Fantasmic to return, and it's actually returning with new sequences from Moana, Aladdin, and Frozen. So look out for the new and improved Fantasmic. And that brings us to our main segment of this episode, and we're going to be covering the Magic Key celebration happening in Disneyland. So, Disney has declared that February, the shortest month of the year, is the month to celebrate Magic Key holders. And all the non-Magic Key holders said, yay, more attention to, the locals and whatever. But you know what? I'm going to make the argument. Go ahead and just stick around here. Because number one, I believe you're the real winner because you're $1,000 richer than most of us now. You didn't dish out some serious dough for this pass. And you can also just stick around and laugh at all the perks, quote unquote, that we get to experience during this celebration. So not to be too cynical or whatever, but anyways, it's stick around. You can just listen to what Disney's throwing our way to just go, please renew. For the love of God, please give us that recurring revenue that we so love in those monthly payments or one-time payments. We love to have our cash up front or throughout the year. So you can see what they're doing to maybe entice us and keep us around and again, laugh at us for us, dishing this money out. So anyways, if you're not a Magic Key holder, this may not apply to you, or maybe you're going to be a future Magic Key holder, so you're interested to see what they do for us. And anyways, yeah. But if you're a Magic Key holder and you don't know about this, let me tell you what is going on this month. And that is a celebration to last throughout the year. A little Earth, Wind, and Fire tag there. But it's gonna offer exclusive merchandise in the form of phone cases, stuff that you can again spend money on. They're gonna have themed menu items throughout the park in downtown Disney. There's some free downloadable content in the app, and that includes like wallpapers, exclusive Imagineer footage and stuff. Again, it's probably like 15 minutes worth of stuff. You've got, let's see here, photo opportunities. So these magic shot, I think it's like the AI or whatever you call it, AR. That's the right term. Me, no, not so smart. It's AR, so it's the augmented reality. I think if you stand in front of a brick wall in the park, and then like Peter Pan pops up behind you, and you take a picture, and you're like, oh my God, Peter Pan's behind me. It's magic. So that's a thing that you get for free, I believe. You got some giveaways that are happening throughout the month. You've got an Avengers Campus lithograph, posters, and those sick sunglasses that are all over Instagram. Everyone's talking about it. And Disney's like, you know what people need? Cheap sunglasses. So anyways, they're giving us free Magic Key sunglasses. I'm not complaining. I'm just poking fun a little bit here. But anyways, they're, I don't know, $3 sunglasses. Definitely not Ray-Bans or anything. So I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and pass up on those Maui Jims I was going to purchase and wait for those sweet, sweet Magic Key sunglasses. But anyways, they're cool. I guess you can put them in their office or something and go, oh, thanks Disney for the free crap. Anyways, you've got some exclusive menu items. So let me tell you what these things are, and maybe you want to try them out. You've got a Magic Key slush at Galactic Grill. I'm assuming a slushie. You've got the Imagine cocktail at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. Kids, it's for adults only, not for you. You've got the Magic Shake at Black Tap, an exclusive pin included with your purchase at Wetzel's Pretzels. Shout out to Wetzel's for hooking it up with a free pin, and other exclusive merchandise that will be released throughout the month. So I love that line there. It's the other stuff that we're going to come up with later because we didn't have it all settled before we released this information. So fun. I don't know. Anyways, it feels a little cobbled together because they just announced, dude, that those sunglasses that they were like, just throwing in your face on social media, they're like, oh yeah, those aren't going to get here until the end of the month. So just hold off on those and come back to the park and we'll give those to you, we promise. So it feels a little cobbled together. I'm sure Disney's having to deal with COVID stuff and shipment delays. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, I'm not trying to be ungrateful. It just feels a little like half-baked in my opinion. But you know what? I just realized I just shared all that delicious food information, but didn't read exactly what those things are. So let me see if I can get a little description pulled up here. Let's see here. The only thing they said about the Magic Key slush is delight in sweet frozen deliciousness. I've got no idea what the heck that means, so let's go ahead and pass on that guy. That Imagine cocktail at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen is Empress Gin, mint-infused syrup, fresh lime juice, and sparkling wine, along with a bit of glitter dust. Creates a magical cocktail that changes colors in front of you. That sounds fun. And you stir your imagination away with the rock candy stirrer. So if you're a kid at heart, but you're over 21, this is the drink for you. The Magic Shake at Black Tap, that thing is an Instagram-worthy dessert, according to them. It's a whimsical blueberry pie classic shake topped with whipped cream, a cherry, and vibrant sprinkles. Not just plain old sprinkles, not that cheap junk you get at Walmart or Target. This stuff is vibrant sprinkles. So take a picture of that and share it to Instagram to feel validated by your friends and your family. And that's that description. The pin thing, no one said, and it doesn't look like we know what that is yet. There's no description of what that pin looks like. But let me tell you what I think would be my magic or my dream Magic Key celebration month. So that's good and all, free crap that you can take home and, I don't know, little tchotchkes you can enjoy. That's good and all, but let me tell you what, if I could choose or if I could pitch an idea to Disney executives or Disneyland park people, please let me pitch this idea. So Magic Morning Hour. So for Magic Key holders for the month of February, you guys get to enjoy an extra hour in the park. That would be absolutely amazing. Bring that back, please. Increased dining merch and discounts. So currently we get, like, depending on what pass you have, you get 10, 15% off on dining and merch. Maybe bump that up by 5% or even I'd be happy with 2.5%. But make it feel like I'm getting a deal since it is so gosh darn expensive to be there. Make it feel like, oh man, it would be worth, my wife wanted this and that and these years and this. I'm going to purchase them now because I can cash in on these increased discounts. Exclusive character meet and greets. So maybe throw those rare characters at us, the ones that they like pull out twice a year maybe or once every other year. Maybe have a little corner of the park dedicated to Magic Key holders, and you can get a photo with those characters. And finally, a Magic Key merch location. So like maybe an exclusive shopping experience for Magic Key holders. And if you look at, I think the perfect place for this temporary shop would be the warehouse thing they've got set up for all the Marvel junk that no one wants because it's always empty. But it's the giant, I don't even know, it's a giant warehouse essentially over in DCA. And I think that would be the perfect space to have a temporary Magic Key merch station thing. So exclusive merch, and they can make, who knows, they can slap that Magic Key gradient wording all over stuff. Put it on hats, shirts, shorts. I mean, I don't know. You could sell a ton of stuff. I'd buy a shirt if it was cool looking and less than $75. But anyways, I think that would be super cool, and that would be kind of my ideal celebration month. That would make me feel valued, right? If they offered those kinds of things. Again, I'm not going to complain too much because they don't need to do these things at all. People would buy these things regardless if they were celebrated for a month, I think, in my personal opinion. But I don't want to complain too much again because I do think it may be, I don't know, I think this current system is definitely a step down from that OG annual pass system. So it does feel a little nice to be like, hey, shout out to the Magic Key holders for being kind of the guinea pigs on this new system. So I think they are trying to make us feel appreciated. Again, I don't want to be too negative or put it down. I know a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram, and they're just kind of making fun of it, which is, it's good, right? And they have the right to do that, and I poked fun a little bit earlier, but I do want to say they don't need to do this, right? They're a corporation that's there to make money. They're not my family member. They're not a friend. They're not there to make me feel happy or better about myself. They're there to make money, right? And in doing so, they do provide a certain environment and whatever, and that's their job, and entertain me. But at the end of the day, they've got my whatever I spent on those keys, right? They've got my $1,400, $1,500 for those 2 keys, and that's that. They could just take that and go, hey, you've got access to the park now. We've met our terms and conditions, and good luck, and have fun in the parks. But they are doing something, and I was going to say honoring. They're honoring us in our service as Magic Key holders. No, they're appreciating us for a month and doing some cool, fun stuff for us, and that is appreciated. So again, is it my ideal thing? Is it my idea? And, is it everything I want it to be? No, not at all. But it's cool. It's a start, and I think they'll improve on this as the new system matures, right? As the new Magic Key experience matures, and they just kind of get their arms around this whole thing. So again, that's happening from February 1st to the 28th, and will end in March. And of course, it's not happening during our trip. So Disney, why do you hate me? Why do you hate me and my wife? what have we done to you? It's not their fault. We just didn't plan well. But anyways, we're not going to be down there for that. So any Magic key holders that will be down there, grab that free junk, because rarely is there anything free at a Disney park. So enjoy your time grabbing that free stuff. So that is what's going on in February for the parks. And yeah, I won't be able to experience it, but good luck to those who are, and have a good time. So, but before we leave, what are your thoughts on the Magic Key celebration? I'd love to know kind of what you're thinking and what your opinions are about this thing. If you like it, if you're like, I don't really care, or are you making a special trip for it? Super curious to see what you're doing. Send us a message on Instagram if you don't mind, and share your thoughts, and we can have a good discussion on there. And yeah, we'd love to see what other people are thinking. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you so much for listening and spending time with us here. Follow us on Instagram at Market House Podcast. If I could remember what that dang name is, Market House Podcast on Instagram. We post a bunch of pictures on there. My wife does a fantastic job running that thing. And also consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would help us greatly. Kind of pop up on the search bar a little more, and would love to just kind of hear your thoughts on the podcast and how we're doing over here at Market House. So anyways, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.